Jason Kelce officially announced the news we've been expecting for over a week. So what will that mean for the Eagles next season? And several players are already exiting Philly, but there is a silver lining. Signing CJ Gardner Johnson may be possible after all. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, Josh Davis here on an insane Monday. Please make sure to like and subscribe. If you have not already, make sure to like and subscribe. We got lots of content coming again throughout the entire offseason here, all the free agency news. I know the show's a little bit late today, but that's because of all the chaos and all the news that I knew was going to be breaking, so it's been scrambling to put this thing together. But we officially got the word from Jason Kelce, as you see on his Twitter account. So he says, I have put much thought into whether it makes sense to play another season. After talking it over with my wife and many other friends and family, I have decided to return for another year. Thank you to all my supporters and detractors for fueling me. I ain't bleeping done yet. That's fantastic. And I love to have Jason Kelce back. And as we've mentioned on the show several times, again, this is a leader. This is a guy that you need in your locker room. We've seen the stats and everything that he's done. I mean, only 8 pressures allowed all season, 0 sacks. He's an absolute stud, first ballot Hall of Famer. We know that. But to get him now in the locker room, you've got Brandon Graham already committed. Jalen Hurts is the guy that everyone's rallying around. This is fantastic. I was going to play this real quick too. After Jason Kelce had announced that he's going to be returning as an Eagle, there was the video here that got posted by the New Heights podcast.
This is the panka.
Gee, that is a hip. That's mine?
Yeah. We're doing it by body type. We're doing it by body. And here's my 119 pounds. This is my weight class.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And next year in Vegas, baby. Vegas, baby. We got a long way to go.
Let's go.
I love getting to see that. You get behind the scenes scoop of what actually happened. It's crazy and fascinating that they were able to keep this under wraps for so long, because remember, that was almost 2 weeks ago, and the news didn't officially break, even though, yes, we were all speculating, okay, Jason Kelce's probably going to return, but no official word got out there. So, I mean, thumbs up for them being able to actually keep that under wraps, but give it a like, Kelce is back. The cornerstone, the pillars of the organization are set, and now we proceed to see what happens in free agency. So a lot to get into at the time of this recording. Really, the big names that the Eagles have lost are TJ Edwards, which that's a little bit of a surprise, not completely, because there was a thought that we might lose him anyway, but felt like that might be a name that Howie would try to keep, and Javon Hargrave. But the question that you may be asking now is, okay, well, what next? Obviously, those are big names, and we've got shoes to fill. So what is Howie doing? So there's a silver lining in this, though. Not all is lost. There's comp picks, as we've been talking about. And so I wanted to show this real quick, but check it out. There's that article here on the Philly Voice by Jimmy Kimsky, but he says Eagles 2024 compensatory draft pick tracker. So I was curious, as you guys may have been too, of what does that look like now that the Eagles are going to lose these players? So he says in here, quote, defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. Hargrave will reportedly sign a 4-year deal worth $84 million that'll very likely be worth a 3rd-round compensatory pick. And then linebacker TJ Edwards reportedly signed a 3-year deal worth $19.5 million that's probably in the 6th-round comp pick range. 3rd round, that's great. Hargrave. 6th round, I mean, at least you're getting something. And again, we've talked about that the Eagles are most likely going to get at least 4 compensatory picks for next season. So that is a silver lining. Now, at the same time, if you look at this, on the flip side, Javon Hargrave just signed with the 49ers. And that, I think, is very alarming and not very good news for Philly, because Hargrave is a beast. And the 49ers were already incredible on the defensive line. You got to give credit where credit is due, and they were very good. Now, granted, they didn't play a fantastic game against the Eagles because we have an awesome offensive line, and I don't think that's going to be impacted, but you never like to see great players go to rivals, or at least to the kind of the top rivals in the conference. So it'll be interesting to see. Reports came out, too, that Hargrave took a little less money to go with the 49ers, so apparently he could have made more money elsewhere. My opinion is that was with the Bears. There were reports that they were trying to really pursue him, and no deal came to fruition. So we'll just have to see, but you got to wonder, okay, how close was this? Was Howie willing to sign? What was the questions there? Isaac Seumalo. Now, that's a name that, yes, the questions are, okay, can the Eagles re-sign? Probably not. That was one, again, that we were thinking is most likely going to leave, but I think it answers for sure, based on the news here that you see, the Falcons are giving guard Chris Lindstrom a 5-year, $105 million contract extension per source from Adam Schefter. So that's reliable. that's tackle money, quite honestly. I mean, that's amazing money there, and Isaac Seumalo can probably get something like that. So I would go ahead and write that off. But the great news is, again, as we just opened with the show, Kelce's back. So he's going to be at center. Cam Jurgens can move to right guard. I think the offensive line is going to be solidified. Sure, you could draft someone. You could maybe sign a free agent. But there's not main concern really with the offensive line or the offense just in general. So thumbs up for the offense. I think that's going to be great. As we've said multiple times, this team is probably going to be having to be kind of pulled or led by the offense. The defense just needs to be able to fill in some holes. So it'll be curious to see what actually happens. But as you see here too, Adam Schefter had mentioned that the Eagles obviously losing 2 defensive players, as we know now, Javon Hargrave, TJ Edwards, but he says that won't be their last, or that won't be their only losses. So it does seem to reason, okay, yes, there's going to be more, and we do know that, but does Schefter have little bit of rumors or hearsay from other people that he knows or is speaking with closely? We'll just have to wait and see. I do want to spin this into a positive light, though, because as of right now, again, as we've been recording this, there's no official news that CJ Gardner Johnson is signing anywhere, that James Bradberry is signing anywhere. That's pretty big. I mean, normally, as we're seeing already in this crazy Monday, the big name free agents get signed pretty quickly because teams are ready and willing to open up the pocketbook and say, yes, take all of our money. We want you to come to our team. So the fact that that hasn't happened yet, and reports, if you don't remember, yesterday reports were that Howie Roseman basically told all the top free agents, hey, before you sign, let us have an opportunity to match. And I think that at the very top of that list is CJ Gardner Johnson. And that's why you're not hearing reports of an official contract extension and or a deal with another team, because I think that CJ Gardner Johnson and his agent are being smart and trying to peruse the market, see what they can get, and then Howie is going to try to match that. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if the Eagles, and I know the reports are saying there's a very strong, making a strong offer, a strong pursuit to keep CJ Gardner Johnson. With all that's transpired now, and the lack of safety interest so far that we've seen in the free agent market, it's beginning to look like there's a possibility that CJ Gardner Johnson could stay and be with the Eagles defense. That would be phenomenal. Thumbs up for that. Okay, real quickly, wanted to get into some other news because there's also rumors of a potential Pro Bowler that is coming up on the radar now of the Eagles. Now, again, this is another offensive rumor. There's a lot of holes on defense, but it started to gain some traction today. And so here's an article from Bleeding Green Nation of Alexis Chase, and it says, should the Eagles trade for Austin Ekeler? Now, the running back position, as we've seen, probably not going to keep Miles Sanders, but take a look at this. Here, they pose the question. So it says, Ekeler is 27 years old and coming off his second consecutive season with over 1,500 total offensive yards. He finished the 2022 NFL season with 204 carries, 915 yards, and a career-high 13 touchdowns, not to mention his 107 receptions for an additional 722 yards and 5 more TDs. His production in both the ground and passing game is the kind of versatility the Eagles look for at just about every position, but particularly at running back. Nick Sirianni was the wide receiver coach for the Chargers in 2017, Ekeler's rookie season, and the Eagles head coach has talked about the running back several times since coming to Philly. Sirianni is all about relationships and connections, and he has one with a veteran rusher. While Ekeler would be an obvious asset, the Eagles offense, especially with the clear indications that the team is not likely bringing Sanders back, it seems a bit of a stretch that Howie Roseman would be looking to spend that kind of money. Don't forget, the Eagles have 2 first-round draft picks coming up, including number 10 overall from the Saints, so they could very well get a rusher on a rookie deal instead. Now, there is a quote here, obviously, that you see from Adam Schefter. He says Ekeler's due $6.25 million in 2023 in what is scheduled to be the last year of his contract. I'm not sure that this is going to be a route that the Eagles would pursue, but it is interesting, as the article mentions, that there's connections. And as we know, Nick Sirianni loves the connections, the relationships. That's who he brings in a lot of times or looks to pursue. So we'll have to see how this plays out. If you could bring in Austin Ekeler maybe for just this year and pay the $6.25 million, yeah, that could possibly make sense, but it's not really a long-term play, and you're kind of risking and mortgaging the future to save the present. And it just doesn't seem like a move that makes sense, especially like we've said, the holes in the defense, there's other areas that you can fill. So we'll keep you posted, keep you up to date on that. Just an interesting piece that I wondered. Let me know what you guys think, though. Should they pursue Austin Ekeler? Would that make sense on just a one-year deal? Should it be a long-term deal? Let me know in the comments below. As always, we'll keep you posted on all the latest news. I'm sure there's more news that will be breaking later tonight, leading tons into tomorrow as well as Wednesday. So we'll be sure to catch up on all the action every single day, as well as a live show Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern with Thomas Mott of the Thomas Mott Show. So be sure to check that out. Make sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate the support. As always, until next time, I'm Josh Davis, and this has been The Philly Special.